Hi there, my name's Matt Bishop. I've been taking photographs in landscapes for more than 20 years now. And over those years, I've used so many different tripods. Tripods are so essential in landscape photography. And over those years, I would have, at least used 10 different, 12 maybe, tripods. One better than the other. Slowly but slowly, I upgraded my tripods. If I hadn't known that years ago, I would have just gone out and got this beast to start with, the Gitzo tripod. Now hang around and listen to what I have to say about this tripod. I'm going to give you an honest review about what I think. Now I know a lot of you out there think, my God, those tripods, they're so out of my league. They're not out of your league. If you love landscape photography and you tend on doing it forever, my first bit of advice is spend the money to begin with. If you can afford it, these boys are definitely worth it. I've had this tripod now for about 6 months. Beforehand, I was using different brands. I won't go into the other brands I used, but Gitzo came forward and let me try this tripod out. So I've had it for 6 months now. I didn't want to review it before because I wanted to test it out in all the conditions possible. I've taken this tripod out in workshops. I've taken it into many different types of terrains, to the beach, up into the mountains in freezing conditions. And here I am now, after 6 months, telling you what I really think about this. So this model is the GT4543LS, which is really long. And I've got this really cool ball head that Gitzo sent out to me too, which is a nice, chunky, heavy ball head. I mind you, heavy, but when we're talking about weight, we're talking about quality and support. So that's really important. This ball head here is, there you go, can you read that? Yeah, GH4383LR, okay? So this is the combo I've been using for the last 6 months. So let me get straight into it. I'm not gonna blabber on anymore. So, first thing that I noticed when I grabbed this tripod is the amazing quality of it. Look at all that speckled alloy magnesium housing to it, the spider. I mean, look at the quality on this here. Just check that out. I mean, you don't get that in another tripod. And I know, because I've tried them. It's just, obviously, when you talk about quality and you talk about support and engineering, you're going to get extra weight onto it, aren't you? So we've got this magnesium housing around it and joints. Then from there, we go straight to this carbon extract. Now this is carbon fiber. I don't know how many fibers it is, but I think it's a 10 or over. The more fibers you get, the stronger they are. All made in Italy. This is 37 mil cylinder on the first upper area of this, so it's quite thick. You can see, look at that around my hand, it's chunky, okay? And the thing is, with this boy, we've got 37 mils and then we go down, obviously, on a 4 section with this G-lock mechanism. Look at that. Did you hear that? How good's that? Look at that. Now, I've been using other brands with this twist lock mechanism, and I'm telling you now, they don't work like that. You get them out of the factory the first time, they're really stiff, then they loosen up, and then the next thing you know, you thought you did your tripod up, and then it falls onto the ground afterwards. And it has happened to me. This G-lock mechanism here, you can feel just the oxygen getting sucked in and sucked out as you open and close it. Some dude coming past on a bike now, good morning, buongiorno. So we're going to get people walking past because I'm actually on an old antique road in Rome called Appia Antica, so I apologise if there's any distractions. Yeah, so this G-lock mechanism, you can feel the oxygen getting sucked in and out of it. Not just that, when you do open and close these, the chances of you actually getting the elements getting sucked into these tripods, like being at the beach, you get sand and things like that, are really high. And I've found since I've used this tripod, I haven't had to clean it out. The last tripod I had before, I was finding that I had to, every time I went to the beach, I had to take it home and I had to soak the whole component inside and out, pull everything apart. I haven't had to do that with this yet. It is recommended you do it, and I've probably got a bit of salt in there, so I probably should get around to it at some stage. I'm just going to stop for a second because there is a car coming. I'll get back to you. So I've just had to relocate off the road because there's a car coming past. It's I came to here because I thought it'd be nice and peace and quietful for doing a review, but it's actually not the case. Sorry, had to move off the side of the road now because cars keep coming past all the time. Not a good place to do a review on a road. I did think it'd be a good place to do it because this is a national park, but cars do come past. Anyway, getting back to this tripod. So, look, you can tell I've had this for 6 months now and it still looks brand new. The support in it is incredible. It weighs 2.4 kilos, just the tripod on its own. If you put the ball head in as well too, there's some cool dogs. Buongiorno. They're getting cold. I'm actually freezing. So without the ball head, it's 2.4 kilos, this system, so it's not light. When you consider there is lots of tripods out that weigh a lot less, but this is a systematic tripod and it's one of the heavier versions of the systematic tripod. There are a few lighter versions and then you drop down to the travel and the mountaineer, which are lighter tripods. So if you're thinking of getting a Gitzo, but you don't want this weight, have a look at them. But consider weight, better support. And you know what? I need the support. So, with this boy on here, you know, you're talking over 3 kilos. It's quite a heavy system, but I've got big, massive lenses, the 70 to 200 on the Pentax K1. I need a lot of support, and it's giving it to me. So, what else am I finding with this? Okay, yeah, just even the quick stops here. All right, they work so well after 6 months. Look at that. It's like brand new. It's just accurate. The engineering on it is just excellent. You can just feel that it's Italian. I mean, let's face it. Okay, I'm an Australian, but I live in Italy. But when it comes to quality products, Italians do it better. They make Ferraris, they make pasta. They're awesome architects. These guys know what they're doing. And you can feel it. When you've got this in your hand, you've got a Ferrari. Tripod, as far as the height goes, it's not one of the tallest versions, but look, for landscape photography and for what I do, I feel it's pretty damn good. Look at my height, okay? You put the camera on the top there, I'm sitting, you know, well over eye height. I find a lot of time with landscapes, I'm actually a little bit lower, so I can just bend down just that tad to take my shot. So this, as far as a height goes, is more than satisfactory. Just to see how effortlessly that closes. This is such a good test of these twist lock mechanism tripods, which have really taken over the market in recent years. You've got the old quick mechanism ones, but I mean, these are just so much better, aren't they? There's just less things hanging off your tripod. There's less room for error. It just makes so much more sense to have these. The next thing I want to talk about the tripod is the ball head, all right? I've taken this out in about -8, -9 in the Brusel Mountains in the freezing conditions, and the head, it just held really well. I mean, the engineering on it, I found with other ball heads in the past, if it gets under sort of like 6-7 degrees Celsius, they just don't work properly. They either freeze up or you can't open close them properly. This thing, apparently, this ball head will resist to about -30 and it'll still work really well under those conditions. So anyone who's into, you know, wildlife photography or going up into mountains or in Arctic conditions, these are the type of ball heads you want. And yeah, it's actually really good. For me, ball heads have their place in landscape photography, not all the time. So, I mean, Gitzo do have a 3-way, which I really want to try out as well too. So I tend to use a bit of ball, a bit of 3-way. But since I've had this tripod, I've been using exclusively this, and I'm really happy with just the precise movements on it. The ball heads in the past were just far too loose. As soon as you got your composition, it sort of fell out of composition and it just wasn't that good. So that's another thing to consider. It is a ball head, but having those precise little movements in this head, just because it is so accurate, I would consider getting a ball head too for landscape photography. Yeah, so it's just a car coming past now. I'll let it go by. Come on, go through. It's not a Ferrari, but anyway. And there's another one. No, that's not coming. So yeah, what can I say? After using this for 6 months, I'm absolutely so happy. Thank you, Gitzo, so much for sending this tripod out to me. I suggest people really think, if you're thinking about getting a new tripod, Definitely, Gitzo is the way to go. These systematics are the way to go. They're really, really good support. Even if you've got a mirrorless camera with light lenses, it's still important to have that support when you're out in conditions. I've lost cameras and camera lenses that have smashed in the past because I didn't have a good tripod. There's lots of tripods out there that are a lot lighter, they're going to be better on your back, but they don't give you the support. This does. So I wish I had bought myself a Gitzo 20 years ago, because I would have saved myself a lot of money in the long run by spending big to begin with, but I would still have that tripod that I got 20 years ago still today, and I'll probably be doing a review on it 20 years later saying how good they are. So again, thank you Gitzo, and see you soon. Bye. Oh, and another thing, I generally don't do reviews on products. I only ever do them if I really, really honestly feel that I can talk about the product and guarantee it 100%. And so make sure you subscribe to my channel, like it, write a comment. It'll all help me in the future for when I do another review, that I'll get a better audience, I'll get support, and you'll get more support. So thanks everyone for listening in, if you got to the end of this video, because I did blabber on a lot, but thanks everyone, bye.